if you are thinking about running a locally hosted n8n account versus a cloud account, then you're going to want to watch this video. I'm going to show you how I was able to connect my n8n locally hosted account in terms of authenticating my Google services. So in the case of a cloud account, you don't have to worry about all those pieces, right? Whenever you're trying to add a trigger or add a tool to an agent, like in this case here. So if you're ever trying to connect like an agent or a tool to one of your agents, you essentially, when you're on the cloud, you pop it open and you select the credentials and you create a new credential and you connect it using OAuth 2, and then you automatically see a call to action telling you to connect it to telling you to log in, right? In this case, you don't see that because this is a locally hosted account. So that is what I'm gonna show you in this video, how to set that up. Now, all of the information is actually on the n8n documentation. However, everyone learns differently. I'm surprised I was able to do this by reading it. It took me a little longer than I wanted it to take me. However, that's why I'm recording this video, because if you are also in the process of setting up your locally hosted n8n account, you're gonna need to do this if you're ever gonna wanna connect any kind of Google services, which in most cases you probably will. So let's go into my desktop here. Now I'm just creating a kind of like a playground here. Like I said, this is a locally hosted account, so I don't have anything in this account. I'm just kind of starting from scratch. I've never done this kind of like setup before. I've always just cloud hosted things. But things, in terms of how much you're paying for it, they start to pile up, right? And if it's something that I'm not necessarily using all the time or I'm still learning, this is something that I really just wanted to have locally hosted, so I don't have to pay the subscription for now until I need to. So again, this is all empty. However, from my understanding, if you're transferring over from a cloud account, or not transferring, if you're setting up a locally hosted account, they're going to be two completely different accounts is what I'm understanding. So even though you have an account on the cloud, you will have to kind of set an entire new account up. So I'm not walking you through that in this instance. I just want to show you this particular piece. There are tons of videos on how to actually set up a cloud or a locally hosted or a self-hosted n8n account. So definitely search for that on YouTube if you are thinking about going in that direction. When you're doing this, so far, my cost to run n8n is $0. I have not paid for Cloudflare, and I have not paid for obviously downloading Node.js into my my terminal and running that. So I haven't paid any money for anything. So it's completely free versus I think it's $20 a month. You know, it's not a lot, but when you add up all the other tools, I just wanted to kind of experiment with this instance. So anyway, sorry for my rant. Let's get on here. So once you're ready to connect a tool, so let's go ahead and connect a tool here. We're gonna say I want to connect Google Sheets. You are gonna, and this is probably gonna look familiar to you if you're on the cloud, but you're gonna go ahead and you're going to connect if you don't have a connection set up from your local. Again, if you have it set up in your cloud account, it doesn't matter. You're gonna create a new credential. You're gonna go through OAuth 2 authentication, which is the recommended route. In this video, I am not going to show you how I set up my subdomain. Again, this was through Cloudflare with their tunneling service, I guess is what it's called. Like I said, this is all new to me. But a tunneling service is how you connect a locally, like a self-hosted account to the internet. Before, if you don't have a tunnel set up, this environment doesn't connect to the web, right? So this is the way that I was able to do it. And then you can definitely set up your own like subdomain. So I had a URL that I use. I definitely set up a domain because I believe this is the preferred route if you want to go ahead and create webhook URLs that will actually work, because the local URL doesn't work, at least from what I saw. Maybe I missed a step, but it wasn't working for me. So anyway, once you're here, you're gonna go ahead and see Open Docs. Like I said, all of the instructions are on n8n's documentation. Once you click on Open Docs, you're gonna go ahead and get a different tab opening here, and this is gonna walk you through everything. So first step is you're gonna go ahead and create a Google Cloud account if you don't have one. If you click on Google Cloud, it will take you to your Google Cloud account. From here, I don't know what the landing page is here, so let me go ahead and go and do that so that you can see it. So so from this landing page, you're gonna click on console to log in. Here you're gonna have, if you have any projects set up here, you're gonna have the one that you were last working on. This says you're working on, and I created a project name, but I'll walk you through that here in a minute. If you don't see where to add a project, you're gonna click here, open project picker, and then you're gonna click on new project. So project name, you're gonna say, you're gonna name it whatever the heck you want. YouTube n8n. And it didn't type anything. Okay. And you're gonna go ahead and create. And it's sitting here, it's thinking, creating your project for you. So you're gonna go ahead and select the project. Now you're working in the project that you just created. You're gonna go and enable APIs. So in here to enable APIs, well, you could click here actually, but I think the sidebar shows up here as well, yeah. So you can click on here and you're going to enable API services. Now here's where you're gonna select all the APIs that you want to. It's a lot, but in this case, I just want to set up my Google Sheets. So you're gonna go ahead and say Google Sheets API, and you're gonna enable it. Then you're gonna go back to here, create your Google Auth credentials. So configure your auth consent screen. So auth consent screen, get started. And the name of the app, we could say YouTube n8n. Your email would go here. And then external is what you would select here. And then contact, again, I would just put your email here. And next again, I agree, continue, create. So we've enabled the APIs. I already showed you how to do that. You can select any API that you're needing to select, and then we configure the OAuth consent screen. And then here is where you're going to select, you're going to create your Google Auth client credentials. So access your console, and then you're going to select credentials. And then you're going to go to API services, and then you're going to click on credentials. And then let's go back to the instructions. You're going to create credentials. In this case, you're going to create credentials, and then you're going to do OAuth client ID. And you're going to select web application. And here again. And then here, you're going to select your authorized redirect URIs. In this case, this is where I'm going to deviate a little bit in this video because, again, you're not able to authorize, from what I saw, again, I could be doing it wrong, but you're not able to authorize Google services using that local URL, okay? So here's where you're going to enter your subdomain, your domain that you created through Cloudflare. So this is where you would put that information there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and enter my domain. So once you've done all that, once you've entered your redirect URIs, you're gonna get a client ID and you're gonna get a client secret. Again, I'm gonna blur all of this out just because I just don't know the security implications of you guys seeing it. I'm not gonna be using this project, but again, just to be careful and just rather safe than sorry. This information you are going to need. So once you're done with the credentials fully configured, you're gonna go to, you're gonna go back to the screen here. You're gonna enter that client ID that I showed you here. You're gonna enter that client ID here, and you're gonna enter the secret ID from here. So now I wanna show you what that process actually looks like. You've got everything set up. And now you want to go ahead and log in. So you're going to create a new credential. You're going to say OAuth2. You're going to take your client ID that you got when you created your project in Google Console. You're going to take your secret key, which I would definitely save. And now you see here, it's asking me to sign in. And here you're going to select the email account that you want to log in with. I would just select continue, select all, and you're connected. So now you can see that I'm connected now. That's it. If I go back to my canvas, you'll see that there's an error here because I haven't sent it anything. So if I was to go, let's select one of my and if I was to go back, you'll see now it's set up. Now this is get rows. Now if I was to go here and select Google Sheets, and in this case, this is get rows. I want to update a row. It's gonna go ahead and ask me to connect, but you could see here that my credentials are already connected. So you're only gonna have to do that once, that whole rigmarole that we just went through. You only have to do that once because it has it saved in your credentials. And that is it. So if you have any questions, any comments, feel free to drop them down below. If you want to see anything else in regards to a self-managed n8n account, by all means, you can ask me down below. I'll be happy to play around with it for you and show you what I find out on my end. Talk to you soon.